Happy Thanksgiving! This is the 151st episode of Downtime Podcast. My name's Alyssa.
And I am Jeremy.
Well, this episode is going to come to you after Thanksgiving, but it's the episode that we're recording specifically for this weekend. For people who don't know, it is a American holiday. And yeah, it's a 4-day weekend for us, and it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the holidays. I'm looking forward to eating and spending time with people.
Yes, I'm gonna spend Thanksgiving with the people in my house because it's spiking, but it's totally fine. We're gonna it's different this year. We're actually gonna get takeout because everyone's really lazy to cook, but I'm okay with that.
I'm not cooking as well. My brother and I are just gonna order KFC.
Yeah, exactly. We're ordering Chinese food.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you spend time eating that with people that you love.
And after I eat, I'm going to spend it playing all the games that I love, like Yakuza.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? I'm looking forward to that as well. I just don't want to fall asleep from eating a lot.
And watching terrible movies.
Oh, that's perfect. Are there any Thanksgiving movies out there?
I had this discussion with my college friends, and although it's technically not Halloween, but Coco is the Dia de los Muertos Day, which I believe is November 1st. It's not October 31st. It's November 1st, which is the closest Thanksgiving holiday date that you'll get.
Right. It's weird because this is a time when it's between Halloween and Christmas, and obviously most famously there's The Nightmare Before Christmas, which takes both of those holidays, but there's not really any Thanksgiving based movies that come to my mind. Maybe someone who's listening now can tell us about any of their favorite Thanksgiving movies, because I don't know any off the top of my head.
Same. Have no idea.
Hey, even a movie that has Thanksgiving in it, I don't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's not the alcohol, I swear. Alyssa and I are drinking a little bit, by the way, everyone.
I can name you 15 Christmas movies, but I can't name you a single Thanksgiving movie.
I can name you 15 Halloween movies, and I can't tell you any Thanksgiving movies at all.
Yep.
It's just one of those...
Which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, I wanted to run something by you, Alyssa, about something that came up in the news.
Yes.
So the Smash Brothers community is in the news again, and this time not for sexual allegations, but they're banding together. This is something that's bringing the community...
That's good.
Yeah, it's bringing the community together.
Great. We love when the community comes together and doesn't hate each other.
So right now they're hating Nintendo.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. So what happened was...
So what's the reason this time, Jeremy?
So what happened was there was a tournament called the Big House that happens every year, I believe, and it's a Smash tournament that celebrates Smash, and one of the focuses is Super Smash Bros. Melee, a game that's been out for almost 20 years, 19 years now.
Yes.
And it's still extremely popular within the Smash community as well as the fighting game community. I think Smash 64 is the one that comes after that. And then I don't know where Ultimate lies, but I know everyone loves Smash Melee. Everyone loves Melee. They love playing it. They love talking about it within the Smash community.
I remember when I was in college, there were Melee tournaments still, to the point that one time my club hosted a Melee tournament, and it spread within the Northern California community. and people actually not from our school came to play the
God.
game because we had I think like a $200 gift card price. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, that's how popular Melee is.
Yeah. One of my close friends, he was a guest on the podcast, Matt. He is a semi-professional Melee player. I think he's semi-professional.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, really good. But in any case, I'm aware of it. I own a copy of Smash myself. My brother and I have sunk at least 300 hours into that game, playing every single kind of mode, and just unlocking all the characters and looking at all the trophies. And it's a fun game, even if you're not like a competitive player. I still think it's a party game, and so does Nintendo. And that's where some of their faults are. But their views on the game now, and what I just said, are different from why they pulled this game from the Big House. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Big House is a tournament that happens every year, and it's of course in person, and a lot of these tournaments happen, like Evo. A lot of these conventions and tournaments happen when people are supposed to be together playing the game, so you get that sense of like camaraderie, but also like rivalry. And this year, with the pandemic happening, there was no way for them to meet because there'd be too many people in one place. It would cause too much of a risk for everyone's health and safety. So they wanted to do an online version. Now, the way that they had to do it was you would need a copy of the game, and you would need to install a mod called Slippy. And what it is that it allows online play with Smash. So to clarify, you don't technically need a copy of the game, like physically, and that's kind of where the problem is. Nintendo doesn't like that people are basically getting illegal copies of their games. As we've seen before, in the past, Nintendo kind of shut down ROM sites because
they're super anti-emulator.
Yeah, anti-emulator, anti-ROM, anti-mishandling of their intellectual property. So for them, seeing that this game is modifying it and allowing people to play online, and that was not inherently in its code, is of course going to have them send their lawyers, which they did to the organizers of the Big House. In turn, it's caused the Smash community to band together and like just get really mad at Nintendo because they're taking something away from fans that is fundamentally why they love the game so much. And Nintendo, it's weird because Nintendo doesn't support this game. This game is 19 years old on a console that's 3 generations back, actually, at this point. And so everyone's just like Nintendo, why? Like, why are you doing this? And I understand why Nintendo's doing it in a sense. It's for them to protect their property, for them to kind of put their foot down, and I guess make a name for themselves, saying like, we don't accept this kind of behavior. But at the same time, it's like, we're in a situation that is really unique right now, and a lot of people want to watch the game. A lot of people want to play the game. They want to raise money. People just want to play Smash Melee, and Nintendo is not going to remaster the game, obviously, because Ultimate is the successor, and they're not supporting it at all. So it's just like, Nintendo, why? Like, I see both sides of the coin, but it's tough. You know, it's tough for all parties. But what do you think, Alyssa?
That's unfortunate. Like, majority of the people... So, Nintendo's not making really much money off of the game anymore. And what I mean by that is, in terms of, like, its sales, like, people have the original game. And you're probably not going to see a lot of people, like, purchasing it, on eBay or whatever. But in terms of putting it online, I doubt that the amount of people who are even playing it online is even gonna like make so significant of a profit that Nintendo is like so upset that, hey, you're playing our game illegally, this is wrong, we're not making any money off of it. I feel like the Melee community is like at this point is a niche community, and it's not a select group of people, but it's like a group of, it's not even really like, I say it's not a large group of people. What I mean by that is like, it's not the size of like the Fortnite community. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's a good size, but it's not gonna break the bank. So it's like I don't necessarily see what the issue is at this point. Then again, I don't see what the issue is with Nintendo being anti-emulator and anti-ROM for all of their really old games that, aren't even like supported anymore.
Yeah, I think for them it's just they want to protect their IP and they want to show that they're taking care, they're doing something about it, because you don't really hear about Sony or Microsoft fighting it out with people who've ripped their games. And Nintendo's been in the news a lot for this, and I think it makes sense for Nintendo's end to make this a publicity thing because everyone knows about this now, like everyone in the gaming community knows Nintendo doesn't like ROMs and they don't like people hacking old games. But I get your point too, Lisa. It's like, why is Nintendo doing this still? Like, I don't understand. I still don't see why. I don't see how they benefit from this because they're not making any money off of Smash Melee anymore. Like
it's not breaking their bank at all.
Exactly. If I were to sell you, Elisa, my copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee, they're not going to see a cent of that because it's not from the store. It's from person to person, and it doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
It's frustrating. It's really frustrating on the player's end because again, people just want to play Smash. They want to play Smash Melee, and it started trending on Twitter with the hashtags free Melee, but after that, the hashtag changed to Save Smash, and either of them are really fitting. So a lot of heavy contention with Nintendo right now and the fans, but we'll have to see how this goes because right now as of now the Big House was canceled. They couldn't even do Ultimate because Nintendo told them, hey, you can't do Melee with Slippy online, and the organizers said, no, we're gonna do it still, and then Nintendo said, okay, we're gonna send you a cease and desist, and you can't do Ultimate as well. So the whole thing had to be canceled. It sucks.
Sheesh.
It's sad. It's really, really sad.
Like, I get it. Like, Nintendo doesn't have to cater to old fans, but there are companies like Capcom and Sega who are still catering to very old versions of games and remastering really old games and just doing all of these things. So to be quite frank, sometimes Nintendo just like has a stick up its ass. It's like every video game company has a stick of some sort, and then this is Nintendo's.
Yeah, Nintendo has a weird relationship with that too. Quite recently, they re-released Mario 64, Galaxy, and Sunshine as a package. But those aren't online games. Nintendo isn't really known for having online compatibility. Games like Mario Kart and Splatoon 2 are kind of the exception. But even then, those games are kind of, I would say, backwards thinking wise, because there's no like real way to voice chat. There's no real way to like talk to other players. Something that I think definitely Microsoft has heralded in the past with Xbox Live, and Sony followed up with PlayStation, or what was it, PlayStation Online. So yeah, I mean, Nintendo doesn't really follow that path. Nintendo's goal has always been that they're a toy company and they value their product. They don't really see their games as a service. They just see it as like something that people enjoy, kids can enjoy,
and go to the next version only.
I think a good example is that Mario Kart game that came out that involves like an actual little remote controlled cart. That's definitely them, like, doing toys to life, or like toys, to a certain extent. But yeah, they don't really fundamentally understand the online capability. Even Animal Crossing. Like, I was playing Animal Crossing with a buddy, and she and I were using like their app, and it was confusing. It was stupid, and it's just like using that app to voice chat with each other. Like, I would rather just use Discord, which we ended up using because it was better than like using Nintendo's proprietary voice chat app, because it felt old school. It just felt like it it came out in like the early 2000s.
Well, also just why isn't the voice chat just coming straight out of the Switch or something? Like you connect a Bluetooth headset and it just comes straight out of the Switch, and like I don't even have to involve any other sort of any sort of like phone or laptop to make it work.
Oh, I know, right? It's like why isn't there that kind of feature built in when the Xbox and PlayStation both have those kinds of things? But again, like I don't think Nintendo was thinking about that. They wanted to think about like a single player experiences more. But who knows? You know, maybe the next version of the Switch will have Bluetooth capabilities built in, and everyone will get it.
For sure.
But
if there's one thing for sure that I know of, just out of all of this is not going to stop the Melee community at all, Nintendo. Like, they're still, like I said, this community may not be as large as Fortnite, but they're a community. Like, they're still going to keep playing this game whether you like it or not.
Yeah, they'll find a way. They'll always find a way.
Yep. Exactly.
Like, if you give a man a stick, he's going to make fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think it'll be the organizers that figure it out. I think it's going to be the community as a whole that will figure out what to do next.
Oh, I totally feel that.
And I want to clarify that this was going to be their 10th edition of the Big House Tournament. I guess this tournament started in 2010, so that's kind of cool that they almost had it 10 years in a row.
We're both playing Yakuza. I am now on chapter 8 of the game.
Nice.
And what chapter are you on?
I'm on chapter 10.
You're on chapter 10. How many chapters are there? 12? 13? 14?
There's 15.
15. Okay, I was close.
You were almost there. You're almost there. One more. If you said one more, I would have been like, yes.
Okay. I have a laundry list of things that I want to talk about with this game.
Let me just say one thing before you do. I was looking in the mirror the other day, and I straight up look like Namba. Like, I have the same hair. My glasses are almost exactly the same.
Oh my god!
And
do you have a jacket?
I was legit about to take a photo and send it to you, but I was like, that's too much work. Then I went back to play the game. But yeah, I legit kind of look like him. I'm like, dude, oh my god, I need to shave.
Hey, gotta do it like Nanba. Don't cave in.
So you want me to be homeless? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, like, long hair don't care, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's... so I'm trying to limit myself to just 2 haircuts this year. I got one in, like, May or April?
Yeah.
And then I'm getting my next one next month. But, yeah, I have really long hair right now, and it looks exactly like Namba's, and I was like, dude, I think I've been playing this game too much.
I feel it.
But, yeah, so, your laundry list, please enlighten me.
Okay. I want to talk about the minigames first, and then I'll talk about the battle system and the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, has completely jumped the shark with these minigames.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm kind of here for it, because you have to remember at this point, we've had 8 Ryoga Gotoku games with a plethora of mini-games. And what's there left? So, you have the classics like karaoke, which is always a staple. It's a good thing that they kept that here. But and you have mahjong, all of these different things. And then what's next? Like, what's the next big thing? And Sega made basically like the most fucking ridiculous like mini games I've ever played in my entire life in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, the can collecting game, which I've already beat.
Oh.
Because, in fact, it's funny. I played it for the first time for only 10 minutes, which was the first time you were supposed to play it for the storyline. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I went back to it at some point because I was broke, and this was way back in chapter 4 or 5, and I really wanted to make some profit out of it and get items. And before you know it, 3 hours passed and I beat the mini game.
Okay, so what do you get out of it? Because I stopped playing it like about like 2 or 3 times, and because I thought I thought it wasn't a good way to make money, so I just left it. Is there anything I should be looking forward to? Should I still play the game?
I beat the game in chapter 4 or 5, so this was in the beginning when I was really broke. And so all of this really helped me out, not just with having a few items, but also part-time hero. I get majority of my part-time hero items from this game, from this mini game.
Oh, right.
Game. Yeah. So that helped me out tremendously. And then I collected all of the cans, and yeah, I beat that in 3 hours. And
wow.
It just goes to show, like, I'm fucking recycling for a mini game right now. And then don't even get me started on this stupid ass movie watching game.
Oh my god.
Like, so to preface this for anyone who doesn't play Yakuza, so there's a mini game called the Seagull Cinema, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever played in my entire life. Like, it starts off as a sub-story where you meet this elderly man who has a theater and he loves cinema, and he's complaining to Ichi, everyone always falls asleep in this theater, but I have all of these classic movies. And what he doesn't tell you is the reason people are falling asleep is because these are terrible movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should have seen my face the first time I had to play the mini game and I realized what was going on. And how this mini game works for our listeners is I'm in the theater and Ichi has a gauge, and it's a gauge for staying awake. And what you have to do is you have to fight these goddamn sheep, which aren't even really sheep. They're men dressed up in sheep masks, and fight them from making Ichi fall asleep. And You're damn right, I'm 2 movies away from beating that mini game.
So when I first played it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I figured out that I was really, really good at that game.
I'm and then for one more thing to add, this is a rhythm game essentially.
Yes,
you're pressing the buttons. Karaoke's trained me for this moment, Jeremy. Yeah. I'm excellent at this game.
For real, me too. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like Rock Lee when I took off the weights. I'm like, bro, I'm like going fucking ham on this. Like my eyes go like chameleon's eyes, and then I can like see both of the sides of the screen.
I can press multiple buttons at once. That's how I've mastered pretty much this game.
Yeah, no, I'm almost done with it too, and
yeah,
I love it. I also love the part that the movies are so stupid, because some of them I actually know what they're referencing, which is hilarious to me. And it's like the dialogue that they say during the movies is really stupid too.
For this podcast, I actually had to get one of the lines because I just could not stop laughing, and it was for Shark Vacation.
Oh yes,
the movie's called Shark Vacation, and then there's a line of dialogue in the movie that goes, "Shit, Takashi and Yuho were eaten too. Time to make use of all that clubbing and dance the fuck out of here." I was just like, what the fuck did I just read?
I wish I could have seen that on the screen. Oh my god, I remember that.
I was like, what the hell is this game?
Ichi, and even Ichi was like, what the hell is he talking about?
I love what he uses in this game. He doesn't even say what the fuck. He says, what the freshest fuck.
Yeah.
So the last 2 movies I have are the 2 5-star movies. I'll probably finish it tonight. Who am I kidding myself?
I think those are the last 2 I'm on as well, because I just beat 48 Samurai, and I don't remember what's after that. Okay. So even that was funny because the names just kept getting longer and they sounded more like samurai names, but the names were a play on what number they were. Like one guy was like 7, one guy was 8, and I was like, dude, this is so stupid, but it's funny.
I know.
Oh man, yeah, that game is ridiculous. And I should also mention in the game, you don't hit the chickens because it'll count against you, and the chickens actually do help you wake up because they have like symbols, and they'll clap them, and it'll wake each you up and restore some of the bar that you're missing. If you missed one of the sheep hitting you. I also want to say that I might cosplay as one of those fucking sheep or chicken one year.
God,
it's so easy. It's so easy, but but like I think it'd be funny to play the chicken because you'd have the symbols with you. You just clap them.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's maybe one year for like a convention, like I don't know, maybe like Fanime in San Jose or something. But
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was like, that's so easy to cosplay, and it's so niche. Like, not everyone will get it, but if you get it, you'll be like, oh my god, that's amazing. You know?
If you know, you know.
Exactly. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun to do.
I support that decision. I'd rather you be the chicken than the sheep. The sheep is just fucking terrifying, honestly.
The little hand wave.
If I saw that sheep like somewhere walking down the street, I would run in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
The seagull game, the seagull cinema game, so stupid. But here I am. I'm almost done with it. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I really like it. I've been utilizing it effectively by like inviting certain characters I want to watch it with me because it increases your relationship with them.
Yes.
And one time I took Adachi to a movie and he's like, I didn't really like that, and I'm like, oh damn, all right. Sorry.
I think if you take Nanba likes all the movies that you take him to.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
The one minigame that I haven't gotten into yet, just because I was playing all the other stupid minigames, is Dragon Kart, which, of course, you have pocket racing, you have drone racing, but now you have Dragon Kart racing, which is basically, of course, Mario Kart, but you're playing it in the streets of Ijincho, Yokohama. And I just haven't gotten into it yet. I haven't, like, I probably just need to spend, I need, a day to, spend with that.
So, I've been getting into it, but I kind of held back a little bit because, as we know from every single kind of Yakuza game, when there's a game like this, there's gonna be a cart or, a drone or, a little mini racing car that's gonna be the best version of that. So, yes. I'm waiting until I get that. I kind of have a sense of when I'll get that, but once I get it, I'm just going to upgrade the fuck out of it with all the money I have and then just blast through all the easy people and the hard people and be like, yep, I won.
Sure.
I will say, after playing it a little bit, I'm not used to the controls. I'm not used to the feel and how it feels as a game so far because I'm so used to Mario Kart, and every time I pick up the controller and look at it, I just keep thinking of Mario Kart whenever I look at it. And
I mean, it is Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It literally is Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't get that out of my head. So when I'm playing it, I'm thinking it's going to, the cars are going to drift like it. It's going to, feel exactly like it. But it doesn't feel like that. And I think that's what's kind of holding me back from playing it, continuing further. And also from learning how to drift properly. Because the drifting doesn't feel solid. It feels too loose and it feels too tight. So I need something that's balanced. So Mario Kart, for example, the drifting isn't loose at all. When you drift, it feels natural. But in Yakuza Like a Dragon's Dragon Kart, it feels too stiff. It feels too tight. And I always hit the corner whenever I try to drift. So I'm trying to figure that out. And right now the karts I have are all fully modified. But I already know that there's going to be a final kart. The Dragon Breath or something like that. That's going to be the cart that I'm going to be using. So I'm waiting for that, and then I'm going to finish the whole minigame. But
makes sense.
Yeah, I like it so far. It's just difficult to learn for me personally.
I've only played one game yet, which is of course the easy one that anyone can win. So I don't have a strong opinion on it yet. But I will probably dig into this probably later down the line. I'm not really too invested in the racing. Like, I usually play the racing games towards the end of the storyline. Except for Pocket Racing. I played that the whole time.
Yeah, oh my god, I got so hooked on Pocket Racing.
Yeah. But aside from that, but part of it is because Pocket Racing you don't really have to do much. but drone racing and Dragon Kart are definitely like near end games, mini games for me.
Yeah, same. By the way, did you look at who's running Dragon Kart?
It's him, right? It's him.
Did you look at his feet?
Wait, I didn't look at his feet. Oh shit.
So he's wearing the same exact outfit from Zero underneath his jacket.
I knew it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So when he introduced his name, I was like, wait, is that the same guy? Because I don't recognize that name that he introduced himself as.
I did, because I remembered that his name, Fujisawa, is a reference to Initial D, because the main character of Initial D, Takumi Fujiwara, kind of shares a similar name, and that's of course a reference. Funny. Yeah, to like cars, basically, like drifting cars, car culture, and Fujisawa. I was like, huh. I looked at him. I was like, he looks like Pocket Circuit Fighter. And then I was like, there's no way. And he's like, my name's Fujisawa. I'm like, huh, Fujisawa. And I looked at his legs. I'm like, holy shit, he's wearing the same exact outfit. I was like, oh my god, it's him. It's him. And then, he makes some cheeky references. I'm going to say that. I'll let you figure out. I'll let you find out. But, all
right.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Wait, weren't you just in Hiroshima working on your fucking tofu thing? Oh my god.
Right? Like, what is going on right now? Well, now he's fulfilling his dreams. So.
Right. Which, by the way, him going to work on his family's tofu shop is a reference to Initial D, where Takumi worked. His dad is a tofu shop owner, which is even more of a on-the-nose reference to Initial D. And I was like, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I love Dragon Kart so far. Again, I'm just waiting for that last little bit to continue on.
For sure. The last mini game that I want to talk about is really quickly, because it kind of blends into the main storyline, is the management game, where you start off with the rice cracker shop, and then it's basically the real estate game. Yeah, I'm on level 28 now. I'm really close to finishing. The only thing I just wanted to mention was I wasted like the first 2 to 3 hours of my life playing this game, and when I say waste, I mean like gone down the drain, and I made no profit, because I wanted to be the brave person and be like, you know what? I don't quite understand all the instructions that I'm reading on this screen, but I'm going to try to play it and figure it out for myself, because I want to be self-sufficient and I don't want to depend on a guide. And this is when finally Nick Ogata, who you meet at the beginning of the game, like, he gives you a bunch of money to invest in, like, in the rice cracker shop, as well as you buying another property. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out on my own. Yeah, I was in debt. I owed money to the bank. I took out like a payday loan. Like, it was all bad. Like, I had to lay off a bunch of people. I had no idea what I was doing, and I squandered all of Nick's money, and I had to pay all the money, or I had to pay the fine out of my pocket. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna look at a guide. I don't know how boardrooms work. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what my strategy is. And then I read a guide, and I was like, oh, the boardroom game is a lot easier than I thought it was. It's just really difficult to understand with the on-screen instruction.
Yeah, it's like a really complicated version of rock, paper, scissors.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, and then I think it was Kotaku, the guy. No, it was, I don't remember which guide I was reading, but the guide was like, when you're first getting used to it, just pause on every single piece of dialogue so you can see the color. And then I got used to it, and then now I can play the game without pausing, and now I'm at level 28, and everything's great. And I was just like, wow, I really wasted 3 hours in debt. it.
No,
when
I
could
feel
have
it.
just read online what exactly I was doing, but I wanted to try to figure it out for myself. So
Yeah, I fell into the same boat as you, and I gunned through it. I just head first. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do all this. What I didn't do was I didn't buy other properties to increase my returns, which I should have been doing in the beginning. So I didn't have enough money. I didn't go into debt, thankfully. But when I got to the shareholder meetings, I was like, shit. Okay, I need to have one of every color. So I had like at least two of the same color, and then one red, and then like one blue, for example, and two greens. And I was like, okay, so the opponents are, when they talk, they're gonna do the opposite color, and I need to do that. Turns out, if someone that has a red icon is speaking, they're not gonna always have a red icon bubble. They're gonna have like a green or a blue. And I was like, holy
it's
shit!
so
that
confusing.
Yeah, that threw me off. And I was like, okay. So I kept failing, and I was like, shit. Okay, what am I doing wrong? And I realized I didn't look at any guide. I realized like, holy shit, it doesn't matter what color they are. It matters what color the bubble is. So I was like, oh. And so I did that, and I was like, holy shit. And then I did that, and then I was still stuck in a sense. And I was like, okay, shit. I don't want to look at a guide because I want to figure it out. But I ended up looking at a guide, and the only information I needed from that guide was to do sub-stories and recruit those people from the sub-stories. I was like, oh, okay. So I did that. And you too can become a millionaire, Alyssa.
Oh yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
I know.
And once you get to the top, you can literally use this business management game as a bank, and you just make money from it because it's so easy when you're number one, and you just make money every single time you play it, and then you just leave, and then you just continue on with your life.
This game is the only reason why I don't have to experience farm that much, because I can actually afford good weapons. This is the only reason. Because I'm not going in that fucking dungeon and crafting items.
No, I oh my god. That
which don't even, give me, I need a whole 2 minutes to talk about that in a few, but.
Yeah, really quick, I want to say, like, in Yakuza Like a Dragon, unlike previous Yakuza games, like, because this is so different mechanically, once you have so much money, you can literally buy relationships with your party members. You can buy any weapon you want, as you just mentioned. And there'll be other characters you meet in the future, Elisa, that will have like some of the most powerful weapons, and you'll be able to afford it without blinking an eye. Like, you won't even look at your wallet because they're so cheap compared to what you have in your pocket after finishing the business management game.
I get it.
Yeah,
I totally believe it.
I gotta say, like, I think you're doing the right move by starting the business management game early, because a lot of the guides I've read, they don't say do that in chapter 5. They just say this is how you do it, and you can do it whenever. But I think personally, if you're gonna play Yakuza Like a Dragon, when you have access to Ichiban confections, like, just do it. Just play the game and then just get a bunch of fucking money, because money will buy you happiness in that game. Like, it'll buy you everything.
I'm in chapter 8 right now. I'm at level 28, and I'm able to get really good weapons and armor for all of my people without having to go to the person who crafts it, and I'm totally okay with that. I agree, start early. You don't want to be collecting gold plates under vending machines for so long.
Yeah, I stopped doing that, but I'll do it sometimes for fun, because I'm like, what am I going to find? And then I find something useful. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I remember being strapped for cash in the beginning. I'm like, fuck, I got to do this fucking can collecting minigame or search under vending machines. That's so stupid. And like, I couldn't afford like healing items. I couldn't afford anything. Now, when I go to like the pharmacy, I'm like the dude who just like takes his hand and just swipes everything into the basket and just like goes to the checkout counter. I'm like, all of these, please.
I want 10 of each of these.
Yeah, I want 50 of these.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Another pro tip for you, Lisa. So Ichiban confections, when you talk to the old lady at the counter, those little like senbei, they actually restore like 150 health.
Oh, I have at least, I think, like 30 of each of them.
Okay, perfect. You already know. Yeah, they're so cheap, but they restore a lot of health. I'm like, holy shit, this is magic. Oh my god.
The two most useful food shops are Ichiban, the confectionery rice cracker place, where like you just get all of those rice crackers that help you heal up quickly. And somewhere in Chinatown, I don't remember which shop it is, but there is a specific shop in Chinatown where there are food to go items that heal both HP and MP. And I don't remember which one it is, but that one is useful as fuck.
Yeah, it's the Chinese medicine shop. They have
that one's amazing.
Yeah, they also have stuff that will restore your allies with full health.
Yeah.
If they faint in battle, and I was like, oh my god! So I just bought the max amount of those. I think it's like 10, and then I was like, I'm fucking stacked. I'm ready to go, dude.
Hey.
Yeah, it's money is everything in Yakuza Like a Dragon, and if you have a lot of it, like the whole game is easy after that.
Exactly.
Compared to Yakuza's like 1 through 6, like I'm like super rich because in 0, like oh my god, like real estate minigame is so OP for money. You get so much money. But in Like a Dragon, like it's a lot less than what you get in 0, but it's still a lot of money.
Yes, agreed.
But yeah, business management game is dope. You wanted to talk about the dungeon?
Okay. Now let's get into the story, kind of like the storyline and and just like let me start off with the battle system. Okay. Now that I've played through, I have a few gripes about the battle system, and they're things that I'm slightly annoyed by. The first thing is that enemies have this sort of wide peripheral range for initiating a battle with you, and it's more difficult in this game to run away from a battle than previous games. What I mean by that is, say you see like a group of people coming from up the street and like you're walking towards them. If the road's wide enough, you would actually be able in previous games to just run around that group, and they would only battle you if they physically touch, like, like if they actually like reached you and touched you.
Mm-hmm.
This game now, enemies can be however the fuck far away and the battle initiates, and I'm like, dude, like how did this even happen?
Yeah, it's so annoying. Like their cone of vision, which is similar to games like GTA 5 or like Watch Dogs 2. It's so annoying, like you said, because I'm standing 10 feet away and I'm clearly out of their range, but it's still red.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, oh my god. And they're like, hey, you want to fight? I'm like, dude, I don't want to fight. Like, oh my god, I want to go. How did you even see me? Like, what the?
You didn't even. You're not even next to me yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like a mile away. I'm like, what the?
Yeah. And I can't stand that. Like, it's so frustrating to avoid battles. I've gone through great lengths of just going the complete opposite direction and walking all of these side streets just to avoid battles sometimes.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. My next gripe about the game is that when you start playing this game and there are some moves, physical and magic, that can hit multiple enemies at once. And like, for example, Ichi has a move where he takes a baseball bat and it hits multiple enemies. If you have Nanba, his alcohol breath spits fire on a lot of people. It can spit fire on a lot of people, as well as what's her name? As Sayako's champagne bottle move. Like, these are like moves that can hit multiple people at once. Mm-hmm. So the thing that I find the most frustrating is that I can't maneuver my party member to be near a group of enemies so that that move can hit all of those people at once. I'm at the whims of what the NPC does and where it stops, but I can't physically move my member, because it's like, it's like there's a move, it's like, oh, this water move can hit like anyone in its path. And then what will happen is like there's like one person like far off on one side, and like Sayako is like near that person. And then I see on like my left side, there's like 3 enemies grouped together. Now, what I want to do is I want to, like, hit those 3, like, and, you know, like, I want to, like, be able to actually move the person, like, move the party member and angle it so that I can align it perfectly with, like, those 3 people. But it's, like, each time, it's, like, what will happen is I'll choose one person in that 3-person group. Sayako, the NPC, will walk to it, but then it'll walk to an angle that doesn't hit all 3 people. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, totally. It's like it's up to the whim of the game. It's up to the NPCs and your character. It's I would say it's up to the enemy NPCs, because whenever they move, you move too, and you can't do anything about that.
Exactly. And I find that very frustrating, because if a move can hit multiple people at once, then I want to be able to hit multiple people at once.
No, I get it. Like when you're Ichi and you want to do your mega swing move, right? It's going to hit a bunch of people. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, okay, there's a group. Because right when I start the battle, I kind of survey what's going on and like who's the first person that starts like on your side. I'm like, okay, what is this person good at? What can they do? Okay, well, they can't do this, so I'm just going to have them do another move. But then that causes everyone to break up. But if I start with a character that can do a move that hits everyone, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to do, so I quickly switch to that. And then I'm like, all right, let's do this. Turns out the NPC that they were targeting now moved away from everyone, and they're by themselves.
Yes.
And
oh God.
That group move means nothing. I'm like, dude, I'm like, fucking hate this battle system so much. Oh my God. Like, it's dope overall. Like, I think it's awesome overall, but yeah, that's one of my biggest complaints for sure.
Yes. Those 2 are my biggest gripes about the battle system for sure. Overall, like I said, I love RPGs, so this is like totally in my wheelhouse. I'm fine with this. But just those 2 gripes, though, like sometimes make me want to throw my controller at something.
Mm-hmm.
In a peaceful manner, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before I go into the dungeon, I just want to talk real quick about the party system, because at this point, I'm deep in the party system where you can. It's similar. It's actually, the battle system is actually very similar to Octopath Traveler, where you can change a party member's role or class. And when I played Octopath, I didn't do that. I kept everyone the same class that they're originally supposed to be, and I was about to play this game by doing that. But then what ended up happening was at the weapons store, there were katanas. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to, use these katanas. And it turns out that katanas are limited to a specific class that I don't have. Right. Originally for any of the members. I have to change it. And so I was like, oh, shit. But, like, I don't want to change Ichi because I like him as a hero.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up changing. So currently when my classes, I actually changed my classes quite a bit. So currently where I'm at, I have Ichi is actually a bodyguard that uses a katana. Sayako is a hostess. That's actually my favorite position for her. I love that class for her. I have Eri from the management game, and she's an idol, so she's my healer right now. And then Adachi's the only person who I kept his original position as a detective. I'm satisfied with where Eri and Sayako are right now. I might change Ichi back to a hero, because I just think being a hero, like, his position as a hero is just really epic and has a wide range of enemies, wide range list of shots that hit multiple enemies at once that I really like.
So, but yeah. Go ahead,
I really like the katana.
I know. And when you spend money on something, you're like, oh, fuck, now I'm not going to use it. Like, I need to use it, right?
Yeah.
So I was also looking into this as well. When I unlocked new classes, I was like, I kind of want to try them out on people and see how they work. So I was using those for a while, and unfortunately, I chose classes for my 4 party members that they would only do like one-on-one moves. They wouldn't do like all around attack moves. And I realized that, and I was like, shit, okay, how do I make this better? And I pulled up a guide because I'm trying to limit how much guides I use for this game because I just want to look at it without having to rely on that. In previous Yakuza games, I would look at a guide quite frequently because I would want to figure out the best way to do something.
I feel it.
Yeah, and so of the 2 times that I looked at the guide, the first one was for the business management game, and the second time was for what are the ideal classes for every member to use effectively, and what is the max level that they can reach. So I found out 2 things. The first thing was, what is the best class for each individual character? So there's several, but it depends on what you want to do. So I think you should make Ichi hero. The guide was saying that Ichi's best is hero because he has the best like group attack moves, but also the best one-on-one moves. And
I believe that.
Yeah,
honestly, I loved him as hero.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know as RPGs go, especially JRPGs, you never want to keep the original character's class, but that is kind of true.
Not always true.
Yeah, that's not always true. That's not always true because it depends on the game. It definitely depends on the game. So with Ichi, you want to be hero because of what I just mentioned. And plus, I don't know. It seems very fitting for the game for him to be hero.
Oh yeah,
the hero class.
I love him as hero.
Yeah, me too. He looks so badass doing it. All his moves are so cool. And when you rank up in the business management game, you get specific moves from those, which are pretty badass too. So with Adachi, you actually want to be bodyguard because that's his tank role.
There's hope. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, with bodyguard, he has buffed health and buffed defense. And I think that
I should make a. Oh my god, there's hope for me using this katana.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, not bodyguard. Shit. He should be what is it? The rider class.
Oh, the tank.
Yeah, with the shield because he'll have buffed health and buffed defense.
Him. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, because he not only does he have really good like one-on-one attacks, he also does have really good like all-around attacks as well.
That makes sense.
With Sayako, the idol is the most ideal class for her because she has really good healing abilities. There's 2 moves with her that I found out after leveling up her quite a bit. One was she'll sing a song and she'll like heal everyone's mental and physical ailments.
Eri has that one for for my team right now. It's great. Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. And moving on to Eri, like she should actually stay clerk because there are certain moves with her. With Namba, he should also stay his original class, homeless guy, because of all the moves that he can do. If you want, like they're all, it's all subjective, to be honest. Like you work with what's best for you, but what I described, I think is really up to you. I mean, what I described, I think was the most ideal according to that guide. But again, everything is subjective. I just want to play the game what I think is the most effective in getting things done. And to top it all off, the second thing I learned from that guide was everyone learns all of their moves for their classes at level 28.
Oh, God, I'm so far from that.
Yeah, technically, me too. I'm still pretty far from that as well. And it takes quite a while to level everyone up. But yeah, once you hit level 28, everyone will have all the moves that they know for that class, and then you can change it out if you want to. The max level you can reach is level 99 for every class/job.
Yeah, I can't wait to change Ichi back to a hero. I really like him as a hero. He's actually dressed as a knight right now.
Yeah, me too. Because I was like, this is so fitting. I had to leave it at that. I was like, because I was looking at his costumes, I'm like, he doesn't really look good in the old characters' costumes. Let's see, armor. What is this? Like, that's so cool.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep him in the armor. He just looks so badass.
Oh yeah, I'm completely Okay, last thing I have to talk about with the battle system is Chapter 6. Which, honestly, I'm still traumatized by. That might have been the longest dungeon crawl I've done in a very long time in a video game.
I hated every minute of it. I'll be honest.
And when I say chapter 6 traumatized me, it's because the whole of chapter 6, 90% of chapter 6 is a dungeon crawl. There's like not really that much story to it. It's just you're stuck in the sewer and you're trying to get back to the top. And it was so long. I hated it the whole time. This was a big risk or honestly, I'm surprised they put a dungeon this long in this game. Like the fact that we had to go so many floors. You can't, like I said previously, you can't avoid battles. And it didn't help that it's in a sewer, so it's not even fun or visually appealing. The whole thing sucked. I hated chapter 6 so much. Like, this was definitely, like, I think the lowest point of the Yakuza battle system in this game.
I want to add on too. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but the final boss was also really stupid too. When I saw it, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I have to fight this? Like, what the? Oh my god, It was so dumb. I hated
it was really stupid.
Yeah, I hated every minute of it because I was like, okay, we just have to get to that pink point, like in every Yakuza game. I got there. There's another floor. I'm like, oh my god, okay. Well, I guess I gotta get to the pink point again. I get there, another floor. I'm like, how many?
Yep. I'm not like this. Like, I have a strong opinion about this. This is like one of the worst like things I've ever played in Yakuza. This stupid dungeon.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think it's stupid too, and I oh god, I just wish you could avoid it. Like, I understand why it's there because it's an RPG. Every RPG has a dungeon.
At least keep it 3 floors or something, not 7.
Yeah.
Holy balls.
I
I can't believe we went through that.
That was my least favorite part. And then they're like, you can go back to this dungeon anytime. I'm like, great, I know where not to go anymore. And I've never gone back since.
So the point, the point where I decided I wasn't going to really do the weapon and armor upgrade person was the moment where they told you can get rare materials in this dungeon. It was at that point I was like, I'm buying all my fucking weapons. I can't do this. This is so stupid.
I was like, oh, hell no. I'm just going to go to that girl at the shop, the romance workshop, and be like, yo, let me get some weapons, though.
Yep. I was so over it. I was really over it.
Have you done the vocational school yet?
So, I did the vocational school on accident one time when I was broke. So, what I thought, I wanted to try it out. And I thought that it was 5,000 yen that I was paying for. I didn't realize I paid for a 50,000 yen class. And then that's when I realized I done goofed. And I never went back to the vocational school ever again. Because I was like, I can't believe this. But I want to go back after I finished the management game. And the reason I want to go back is not even necessarily to buff everything, because I already buffed things through conversation, through the karaoke bar, through like a ton, like sub stories, through tons of other things. I only want to go back because I actually want to see what the quizzes are.
Oh yeah, so
that's the only reason.
Yeah, no, I was curious too, and I ended up finishing the game because in one sitting because I was so curious about everything.
Yeah.
Some of the questions are really hard. I'm not gonna lie,
oh.
and you can't pause it, so you just gotta answer it to the best of your ability. And the answers, they change every time. Some of them are repeating when you play it again, but some of them are new, and you're like, shit, I don't know the answer. Like, one of them is like, how old is Sonic? What is one of Sega's like previous systems that's listed here? I'm like, dude, I don't know any. Like, oh my god, like, some of it's about math. Like, you have to do equations. Some of it's about animals. Some of it's about science. Some of it's about like healthcare. Some of it's about like laws in Japan. I'm like, whoa, what the hell?
Lord.
Yeah, and I got so many of them wrong, but I did them so much I remembered what the answers were. So I just went back and did it and got it right. And I'm like, I don't feel proud of that, but I didn't know it in the first place. So I learned some things from that, and I think it was very beneficial. One of them will brush up your knowledge on previous stuff. So just keep that in mind.
For sure. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I want you to find out. That's all. I want to keep it vague.
Yes.
But other than that, yeah, that was. I'm so glad I finished it because I don't want to ever do that ever again.
It's like, you have me doing homework in a Yakuza game? What is this?
Yeah, so stupid. But
The
anyways.
last thing I want to talk about is a little bit of the storyline, and I just wanted to kind of briefly tell you my feelings about the storyline right now.
Sure.
And my opinion is, I actually don't know how I feel about the game's main storyline yet. I think the best way I can put it is that, like, Yakuza games are all, like, will always, like, have some sort of convoluted plot twist. And, like, each game has, like, some crazy plot twist. Some games, the plot twist is a lot more straightforward, such as, like, or like, there isn't really a plot twist. Like, for example, Yakuza 3 doesn't really have a plot twist.
Right.
Or, like, you know, like, doesn't have a notable plot twist. Judgment was very like, even though Judgment had plot twists, it was, like, a very, like, straight, like, cohesive game. Yakuza 0 had plot twists, but that's also an example of, like, that was very cohesive. This game, like, in the first 8 chapters, like, I kept asking myself, like, okay, what is the big picture? Because I'm at a point now where the characters that I'm working with now in chapter 8 are not the characters that I'm introduced with in chapters 1 and 2, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, right now, my thinking is just like, okay, what, like, obviously this has to come full circle, but, like, there's not even, I don't even get at this point how that's gonna happen. If like, not at, like, not even in, like, it's not even in a sense that, like, I want to predict what happens in the storyline. Like, that's not the intention, and that's not what I mean. It's more just like holy shit, how is this even gonna happen? like, I don't even know what the end game is at this point.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. And I'm not going to talk about anything specifically, but, like, there was a part where there was just exposition, and I was, for, like, I don't know, like 30 minutes, and I just skipped all of it because it took too long to, like, listen through. I didn't skip all of it. I was reading the subtitles faster than they would talk, so I would just press X when I finished reading it. And yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, you know, Yakuza stories are very convoluted, and they always have twisty-turny plots about them. But I feel like this one is just going in a weird direction where,
yes,
I'm not sure how much I care about the storyline as a whole. Maybe
I think sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah. Maybe it's because Ichi's a new protagonist. Maybe because it's a new city. Maybe it's because, with everything that's going on, like, it's too hard to, like, take a side and, like, maybe everyone's right, maybe everyone's wrong, maybe no one's right, maybe no one's wrong. But, like,
yeah,
it's hard to empathize or sympathize with what's going on personally, because I just feel like it's just too complicated right now.
yes,
There will come that point where maybe I'll be like, oh wow, okay, now I see it this way, because that's usually how the Yakuza games go for me. But I'm usually taking Kiryu's side in previous games. I'm like, okay, Kiryu's always going to be right because he knows what's going on, and for some reason he's just so lucky because everything happens in front of him, and he gets the answers he wants because he asks, and they tell him something, and he's like, "Nandate?" or like "Nandayo?" or he just says what, and then they're like, they just tell him more with one word. It's just, and Ichiban has been doing that. And I'm like, okay, I get what the game is doing, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, when's this gonna go on? How long is it gonna go on for? When am I gonna get the real answer? Because I know what you're telling me is gonna turn into something else later on, you know?
The storyline is in such a weird direction that is not related now to the first 2 chapters that it's kind of like, are we even going to bring it back to the first 2 chapters? Like, where is that going to tie in? And then I've told you this already, but I firmly believe that if you're introduced as a main character, if they don't show your death, that means you're not dead. And I'm not at that, like, I don't know yet, but I firmly believe that this character that they say is dead is not dead, just because they didn't show the death. But it's like, now I'm just kind of like, God, are we even gonna get back to that character? Because at this point,
but like sometimes even if they show the death, they're not really dead either.
Yeah, exactly. But now I'm at this point where I'm like, fuck, I don't even know if we're gonna go back to that story.
Yeah, no, I know, right? Like, they don't really, they like pull a J.J. Abrams on you. They introduce something and they don't talk about it for a long time, and you forget about it, or you just don't think about it, or you remember it and you're like, when is this gonna happen? Because it hasn't happened yet. I don't understand why this isn't happening yet, and you're completely talking about something else. I like to think about it in the terms of anime. For example, One Piece, where Luffy, the main character, is like, I'm gonna become king of the pirates, and I'm gonna find the One Piece treasure. 300 chapters later, he's on an island fighting dinosaurs or seamen pirates or something, and then it's just like, okay, what about the treasure again? And at the end of the episode, someone's like, oh, Luffy, we gotta go back to the ship and find the treasure. He's like, oh, okay, I'll go with you. It's like, oh my god, what are you guys doing? Like,
this is so accurate. This is so freaking accurate, though.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
What I do like about the story, though, is I like how our protagonists of the Ryoga Gotoku franchise are vastly different. So, Kiryu is very well respected, even though he wants to leave, even though he's tired of the Yakuza. He's the type of person that everyone goes to him because he is Yakuza smart, and everyone knows he will get the job done, and he can go through all of this shit, but at the end of the day, the Yakuza are going to ask him for help for no matter what. Then you have Yagami, and Yagami is very book smart and street smart. And then what I like is that Ichi is like none of those things at all, and he's a highly emotional person that's not thinking on basically majority of his actions. He's acting on his feelings and the people he's met and his friendships and relationships. And I actually like that because it's just different. You know, you can't have all the Yakuza members, or you can't have all of the Yakuza main characters be the same.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like a lot of them are the classic anti-hero trope, especially Kiryu. Yes. Like, he's a bad guy that does good things sometimes, and sometimes he does bad things. But Ichiban is definitely the shonen character type, where he may not look like he's like 15 to 20, because that's usually what the shonen main characters look like, you know? And I love that he's a total opposite of that visually. He's got a beard, he's older, he's got crazy hair that goes up instead of down. But he still has the archetype of that classic shonen where he's a little bit dumb, he's strong, but he has a lot of passion for his friends, and he's very empathetic towards them. And I think that makes for a really relatable character overall.
I do. I agree as well. I'm curious to see, like we mentioned, this is a holiday for us this week, so we're probably going to be even farther in the storyline, so let's revisit and see where that takes us in the next episode, because I will say I'm complaining a bit about, of course, like the battle system, and of course I don't know where the storyline is going to go, but I am still on chapter 8. Like, this might all change by the time I'm on chapter 11 or something.
And we will definitely do a spoiler cast for this. We're keeping a lot of the details intentionally vague because we want to talk about everything in depth during that time, even though it seems like we did talk about everything in depth. But we will talk about and probably reiterate a lot of these things in the spoiler cast. So if you're playing this game now or you finished it, we will have that spoiler cast, and you guys will listen to it.
Exactly.
One thing I do want to say is a pro tip, and maybe you know this, Alyssa, or maybe you don't, but I found out that in order to activate the taxis in the map, you just have to interact with them. You don't have to necessarily ride the taxi, you just have to talk to it.
That's how you sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, exactly. So I was wondering.
My god.
So for the longest time I was like, I was like, why are these taxis not appearing on the map? Like, why is it taking so long for them to unlock? And I thought it was by chapter because I was like, okay, that makes sense because like, you have to go to
freaking kidding me?
in further parts of the game, you go to different sections of the map. And I was like, okay, so every chapter, new parts will unlock for the taxis.
That's
Turns
what I
out,
thought too.
yeah. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I kept going through the game. I'm on chapter 10, obviously. And I was like, why is it still not unlocking? This is also what I looked up in the guide with the characters descriptions for their jobs. And I was like, oh shit, I have to just interact with them. Why didn't I do that? And so I unlocked all of them, and now I just avoid all the fights as much as possible, unless I'm trying to like, use my Suji dex or whatever. But yeah, I was like,
I'm in shambles right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
For 30 minutes yesterday, I just spent that whole time running around interacting with all the taxis in Ijincho because I was like, dude, I can't believe I could have just interacted with them the whole time. Like, oh my god. Well,
all right, let's go to our listener question. Let's go to our listener question now.
Okay. We have one listener question from the Discord, from PJ Sucks. PJ, thank you so much for the question. So they ask, very fittingly, if you were in an RPG, what class would you be and why?
Hands down, I would be the Black Mage. I want all the magical power, and I like having the elemental power.
Yeah, I would probably go either Black or White Mage. I like being support, but I also like having elemental power as well.
Yes.
Is there a Gray Mage? Does that exist?
A buffer, I guess. Sometimes a buffer gets the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's what I would want to be then. I would want to be a buffer just to have a little bit of both, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Because I like to support other people. I like to be that altruistic person.
Totally.
I've noticed that when I play DBD because DBD is kind of like an RPG. Dead by Daylight, by the way, is for those that don't know what DBD is. It's a survival horror game where you have 4 people versus 1 killer, and the 4 people have to run around and complete objectives, and the killer has to defeat all the survivors, kill all the survivors, and then you win the game. And the survivors win by escaping the trial. So in DBD, there's different perks you can use, and the perks help define what kind of player you are and how in your specific playstyle. And so you can unlock perks from different characters, but for my playstyle, I like to like heal people and I like to unhook people that are trapped. So in that sense, I think that kind of like gave me a new light on what kind of style I'd like to be in as far as like RPGs and I guess just like what is it called? Like I guess RPGs in general is I like to be the support class. Overall. So if there's a way I can have like a good attack power and support, that's what I would like to be.
For sure.
But yeah, PJ, thanks for your question.
Yes, always. Thank you. If you have any more questions, you can go to www.downtime.live. We have a question form there, as well as our Discord is on there, as well as our Discord link is in the description of this episode. You can join the Discord and ask us any question there. Anywhere where we have the podcast, such as YouTube, Podbean, Stitcher, you can post a question and we'll answer it there. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we're also on Twitter, so you can shoot us a comment or message. Oh, and then contact at Downtime.Live if you want to send an old school email.
And we are now on Spotify and Google Podcasts. You can't leave a comment or review on there, but we do know that it's a wider platform. We've actually been trying to get on Spotify for a while, so I'm very happy that we are there. Yeah, a lot of people use that platform, so it's good to be in that audience as well.
Yes, and I've been noticing too that we have been getting actually quite a few more hits. So I don't know exactly where that's happening, but if you're a new listener to the podcast, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. If you listen to our old podcasts about the Yakuza games, we have done a spoiler cast on almost every single Yakuza game that has come out in the West, minus Dead Souls. That's the only one. But everything else we've done a spoiler cast for, and we also do well at the time when they were still coming out, discussions on Terrace House. So you can listen to those, and we've also done some side quests as well, which are our what are they called? Spin-off, I guess you would call it, a spin-off podcast, where we talk about stuff that's not video game related, such as movies, relationships, travel. So look for those. There's playlists on YouTube to find those, and you can find them by searching for side quests and wherever this podcast is hosted.
All right. If you are from the United States, I hope by the time you listen to this podcast on Monday, you had a good holiday. Everyone, stay safe, stay indoors, wear your masks, and have a good day.
Yep. See ya.